Before you say a word, your dog already knows how you feel. Not because they're magical, not because of some instinct we can't explain, but because they've been watching you, quietly, carefully, every single day. The way your shoulders drop when you're tired, the way your breathing changes when something's wrong, the way you sit differently when you're sad, even when you're trying to hide it. Your dog noticed all of it, long before anyone else did. And here's the part that stays with you. They never needed you to explain yourself, they just stayed. Think about the last time something heavy happened. A difficult day, a phone call that changed the mood of the room, a moment where you sat down and didn't know what to do next. You probably didn't say anything out loud, but your dog came. They pressed close, or sat quietly beside you, or rested their head somewhere on your body, as if to say, "I'm here. I don't need to understand, I'm just here." That wasn't coincidence. That was communication. Dogs have been living alongside humans for tens of thousands of years. In that time, they didn't just learn our routines, they learned to read us, emotionally, physiologically, at a level that most humans never quite manage with each other. And what they're trying to tell us, through every behavior we often overlook, is something we rarely let ourselves fully receive. That we are seen, that we are not alone, that love doesn't always need language. When your dog stares at you, there's a reflex in many people to look away first. We assume they want something: food, a walk, attention, and sometimes, yes, that's true. But often, especially in quiet moments that stare as something else entirely, dogs have developed the ability to read human facial expressions with remarkable precision. They track the movement of your eyes, the tension in your jaw, the micro expressions that flash across your face before you've consciously registered them yourself. What looks like a dog waiting for something is often a dog monitoring something. Monitoring you, checking your emotional state the way a nurse checks a patient, not intrusively, but consistently. Psychologists who study the human-animal bond describe this as emotional attunement, the capacity to sense another being's internal state and respond to it without words. It's the same quality we look for in the best human relationships, the feeling of being truly read by another person. Dogs do this instinctively. Sometimes your dog isn't looking for food. They're checking if you're okay. There's a behavior that many dog owners find either endearing or slightly annoying. The following. You move to another room, your dog follows. You go to the kitchen, they appear. You sit back down, they settle near your feet. Some people call it clinginess, some call it dependence, but attachment researchers have a different word for it. They call it proximity seeking. And it's the same behavior that secure human attachment is built on. In early childhood, a child stays close to a caregiver not out of neediness, but out of biological wisdom. Closeness equals safety. Closeness equals survival. Dogs operate within a version of this same emotional architecture. When they follow you through the house, they're not just tracking your location. They're maintaining what psychologists call a safe haven, a felt sense that connection is intact, that nothing has ruptured, that you are still there. This is why dogs often become more clingy during periods of change. A move, a breakup, an illness in the household. They're not reacting to events they can't understand. They're responding to emotional disruption they can feel in the air, in your body, in the altered rhythm of daily life. They stay close because something in you needs anchoring, and they know it before you do. But here's the part nobody tells you. Your dog's presence isn't just emotionally meaningful, it's physiologically real. When a dog rests beside you, when you feel their warmth, their breath, the steady weight of them, your nervous system responds. Cortisol, the stress hormone, drops. Oxytocin, the hormone associated with bonding and safety, rises. Your heart rate slows, your breathing follows, the body begins to regulate itself. Not because you decided to calm down, but because something beside you was already calm and your nervous system borrowed that calm. This is co-regulation. It's the same process that happens between a mother and a settled infant, between two people who feel genuinely safe with each other. The nervous system is not a sealed system. It is responsive, relational, constantly reading the emotional signals of the environment around it. Dogs understand this in a way that requires no explanation. They offer their regulated presence quietly, without demand, and the body receives it. A man sits alone after the kind of day that leaves no words. Before he speaks, before he reaches for his phone, before he tries to process anything, his dog walks over and places its head on his knee. The man exhales. Just that, just exhales, and something in him loosens. That isn't small. That is profound. The leaning is something people often miss. A dog pressing its full weight against your leg, leaning into you as if it needs your steadiness. Most people assume the dog is seeking affection. Sometimes that's true, but leaning is also one of the oldest forms of physical communication in the canine world. It signals trust, vulnerability, a willingness to be supported. When your dog leans into you, they are not just asking to be held. They are also holding you in the only way they know how, offering their weight as proof that they are present, that they choose to be near you, that out of every place they could go, they are here. This is the kind of communication that children crave from parents, that adults crave from partners. The wordless message, I am not leaving, I am staying, you are worth staying for. And then there's the waiting. You come home. Your dog is already there, not asleep, not distracted, not doing something else. They were waiting, sometimes for hours, not anxiously, but attentively, oriented toward the door like a compass needle orienting north. Research into canine cognition suggests that dogs have a sense of time, not clock time, but biological time. They track patterns. They learn that your scent in the air reaches a certain concentration around the hour you return. They begin to orient themselves accordingly. The waiting is not random, it is an act of anticipation, of loyalty that doesn't require reward. When you walk through that door, regardless of what kind of day it's been, regardless of what you bring with you emotionally, the greeting is the same, full, uncomplicated, without condition. That never stops meaning something, no matter how many times you experience it. Because somewhere in the human psyche, the question of whether we will be welcomed when we return runs very deep. Dogs answer it without hesitation, every single time. What your dog is really trying to tell you is not a single thing. It's many things, quietly and consistently communicated across years of shared life. When they stare, I see you. When they follow, I don't want to lose you. When they lean, I am here and so are you. When they settle beside you in the dark, you don't have to carry this alone. They have no language for grief, but they recognize it in your posture. They have no concept of anxiety as a diagnosis, but they feel the electrical charge of it in the air around you. They cannot fix anything. They know this, and they stay anyway. There is a loneliness in modern human life that is hard to name, the particular ache of being surrounded by people and still feeling fundamentally unseen. Not unloved, but unread. Dogs offer something rare in response to that ache, a form of attention that is patient, non-judgmental, and constant. They do not need you to perform wellness. They do not need you to have the right answer. They respond to what is real, and they stay with it. Maybe that's why the bond runs so deep. Not because dogs are loyal in some simple biological sense, but because they offer us the experience of being known without explanation, accepted without performance, accompanied without condition. Maybe dogs were never just pets. Maybe they were living proof that some forms of love stay beside you quietly, without needing words, without asking anything in return except that you remain. If a dog has ever understood you during a difficult moment, if there was ever a night or a morning or a quiet afternoon when they seemed to know, tell me about them in the comments. I read every story.